All right, family. Welcome to Bliss on the Spot. I'm Will Milton. We got Ricoh Scott, Sandy Paradise Lady, Coco. Unfortunately, Carolyn Victorian couldn't join us this evening, but spiritually, she's with us. Emotionally, she's with us. We have a special guest today in the building, Bliss on the Spot, Conrad Neblett of Together in Spirit. Conrad,
Yes.
what's up?
What's up? What's up?
How you
What's
doing?
up, Conrad?
What's up, Rico? How's everybody? I'm doing
We're
fine.
good. How are you?
Thank you, Coco. And
Hi,
Been a
Poppy. How
long
are you?
time.
You good?
yes,
Long time,
Been a
long
long
time.
time.
I'm glad you guys invited me. This is awesome.
What?
Yeah.
We're happy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glad you accepted.
It's an honor to have you here as a guest, Conrad. You have been so influential to our dance culture, to our music, um, clubs. You've done panels where you
Mm-hmm.
talked about just the music industry, the culture, and you also gave me my big opportunity as a resident DJ to
Uh,
really, um, you know, experiment. You trusted in me. You allowed me to grow, which I gotta say, Together in Spirit was my stomping ground. That's where I really got that recognition, and you took that chance on me, and I appreciate that.
Well,
So,
talent is talent, brother. You know, you took it, you ran with it. Which that's what I expected for you to do, and you did.
all right,
very nice.
appreciate that. So Conrad, like for those who may not know who Mr. Neblett is, what Together in Spirit's all about, just tell us, just tell us who you are and where this whole thing began with you, with the music and everything.
Well, wow.
Mm,
Where do I start, right? Well, I've been hanging
That's
out
the
in the
beginning.
clubs since the 70s, dancing, and I was not a producer at that time. I was a party
Mhm.
goer. And the 70s went into the 80s and went into the 90s. And, I never stopped partying.
Right.
I noticed at one point I was complaining because I didn't feel that the parties at the particular time, and this was the latter 90s, was um, were turning me on. And I caught myself and I realized, I said, I caught myself complaining. And I've learned that either you be in action or you complain. So I chose to stop complaining and pointing the finger at other people, other parties, and I said I took a stand. So in 1996, I did a. Is this the music on or something?
I don't know. Something's on. I
Yeah.
can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
In 19.
It's Coco.
Coco, your mic. Coco, you got a background. I'm sorry, Conrad.
It's quite all
Coco,
right.
you got
I don't
background
have
noise.
nothing on.
Yeah.
I
All
know
right.
we all love music. It's coming
Yeah.
from somewhere.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry.
So in 1996, I uh, did a show where I sang as a performer. I'm a soul singer, and the other half of the show, after the show, I did a dance party. And the
Mhm.
first DJ, and it was at Demerara's, which was on 28th Street between 7th and 8th.
28.
You're right.
Yep.
And and the first DJ that I featured was Camacho. May he
Mm.
rest in peace.
DJ Dave
And
Camacho.
yes, yes, yes.
How did you discover Dave Camacho?
Well, I knew Camacho from partying, and
Okay.
for going to different parties where he's played. But I always connected with him. I really appreciated him. We always connected.
Okay.
And so I asked him would he, be my DJ. Now I had not intended on doing regular parties. I was just
Right.
doing after party after the performance.
Mm-hmm.
So after the full show, then we let our hair down, and Camacho went in, and he played, he played, he played, he played. So from '96 to 2000, I did the parties periodically at the same location at Demerara's. I didn't do any live shows. I just focused on the dance party. So because that particular night it worked, at that opening party it worked. So I said, well, let me continue on doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So periodically, I was doing them at underground hours, like 3 in the morning it would start, or 4 in the morning it would start, and we'd go to like 9 in the morning or to noon. And I convinced this owner to give us a chance to have this party to grow.
Right.
And it was approaching him with the off hours was attractive to him because I didn't have to interfere with the, a 10 to 4 parties that he had going on. So, with our parties, we're not heavy liquor drinkers. So
Right.
we didn't have that pressure of the liquor. But he saw an opportunity, which I presented to him, this opportunity to make more money, because all businesses want to make money. So he accepted my offer to think outside the box. And so I had DJs like Les Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
This is between '96 and 2000. Les Alexander. What's the brother's name from Chicago? Vincent.
James Vincent.
Yeah. I remember during that time, Tyrone Francis. My God, I can't remember the host of DJs that I had. And then in 2000, I decided I'm going to do it every Sunday. And
So Con, I'm sorry, but during that time, you just had guest DJs every week, or like what?
the James Vincent and Les Alexander were the resident DJs,
Okay.
and then periodically we would have guests,
Okay.
but they were the residents.
All right.
And so 2000 started. That was in October of 2000. Started every week, and that's when you came on board, Will.
Mm-hmm.
You was upstairs, and downstairs was Glenn Thornton, Flag Daddy,
Flag Daddy.
and Carolyn Bird.
Yeah.
Miss Bird. She was downstairs, and they were playing together. And the great thing about Demerara is it had 2 floors. And what I wanted was the floor downstairs to be like a different mood from the high energy upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it, to have I told them that you could play ballads, you could play mid tempo, but I wanted 2 different kind of moods so people would not be bored. It's not the same thing on one, and as DJs, you would not be competing against each other. You would be complementing each other. At least that was
That's
the intent,
nice.
And
Right.
and it did work out in that way. And so over the year, so we did that 5 years, every Sunday, come rain, come shine, come sleet, come hail, come September 11th, come snowstorm, no, snow blizzards.
Blizzard. Yep.
We never stopped. We never stopped. We did every weekend for 5 years, and I was very proud of that. And I was really proud of us as a staff. And let me see if I can remember some of this. So many staff members. Oh my God. So I could say rest in peace to 2 or 3 staff members who made their transition who are now ancestors, and that's Lawrence.
Lawrence Smith Jr. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lawrence Smith Jr. Oh my God. Rashida.
Rashida, that's right.
May she rest in peace. Terry Groom and Curtis Groom were really a great support to Together in Spirit. Whenever I needed them, whenever we needed them, they were there. And both of them made their transition during this COVID period.
Yeah.
And is there any other ones that made their transition that y'all can remember?
I think that was it.
But there were members that made their transition, like who I can remember. Two I can remember right now is Sharp.
Sharp, yeah. Sharp.
I can't remember his real name, but Sharp, we call him Sharp.
Yeah.
I love him so much because he used to take off his shoes and he would dance in his socks. You know, we all have our personalities. So amazing.
We had quite a few people in there who had like that little foot fetish thing going on in there. Either they were doing push-ups inside the club or they had some foot fetishes going on. But
really?
Yeah.
Yes, I ain't gonna get into all of that, but it was a the other person, oh my God, he just made his transition, and he was a good friend of Terry White. You know him, Will. Oh my God, his name will come to me.
Okay.
And you know, there's a host of people who have made their transitions, and you know, their spirit continues to live on with us as we continue to be on the dance floor or on Zoom until we could be on the dance floor. And I pray that it's sooner than later. So staff who are still here, let me try to remember all the staff, and you fill in. Will where I leave out. Miss
We had a big staff.
Oh, a big staff. First of all, Dow Branch, Alicia Brown, they were there, and Mark Gillum, and Terry Felton. They were the original that were there when we first started during that 1996 to 2000.
Yeah.
Then Terry continued on to the end with us, and still to the day, Terry Felton. We had Mercedes. What's Mercedes' last name?
Well, at that time, it was Mercedes Fiello.
Mercedes, that's right.
Mercedes Vega.
Yes. Mercedes. Oh my God, I feel bad. I'm forgetting people's names.
Ron Lester.
Ron Lester, yeah,
was part of the team. And we had like core members who kind of like they were staff, but they were more like core team members that would help out, but like with the big events.
Yes.
Like we also had Chuck Moore, known as Chucky Moore, sometimes do security.
Yes.
Jelly Bean Jay will come in and sometimes do security.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
So many and names will come up as we're talking, and as I remember them, I'll speak them. But it, what they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to have a dance party to really happen, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it's hard work, and but it's enjoyable. It's our lives. It's like we live for the beautiful, and I always call this music that we dance to soulful dance music. And inside of soulful dance music is house, is gospel house, is Afro beats, and all of that stuff, disco. To me, because I remember being in the underground clubs in the 70s when I don't even remember what we called it, but we danced, we partied,
club music.
Club music, right.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was called. But we knew the feeling, we knew, we connected with the feeling, and it was, the clubs were Black and Latino gay clubs, and we had our guests that did come and partied with us. And I need to say that because so oftentimes uh, history sometimes can get lost if you don't tell the truth.
That's right.
This club scene is very similar to the African tradition, which is generally oral. A lot of our history of dance culture is oral, and so, but all of us on this panel, we are griots. We tell the stories, we tell the experience, we share the experiences that we've had on the dance floor with our hands raised, stomping our feet, losing it. Will playing, a song, and Will Milton, to me, I've never heard a DJ to blend music the way he, like I've never heard a DJ to blend music the way you blend music.
Yes, he does.
It's effortless. It's seamless. That's before it was whatever these new machines that you can match the beat. That was
The
not
vinyl,
then. And to play, and because you're the DJ, but to play classic music, it's harder to mix those songs because they're recorded live. And so you got to really be a great listener, and I just acknowledge you for being that great listener as a DJ. And
Thank you.
I will say this: how I first got introduced to you was someone had invited me to come to a radio station to do an interview for Together in Spirit. And they told me, they said, this guy who's going to be like playing in between you speaking, and that this guy, he's young, but he knows the classics and the kind of music that you love, the kind of music that you play. Not because we didn't play just classics, we played also the soulful, the house music in the mixture, the new and the old. I said, oh, okay, all right. So we went to the studio, and his brother blew me away. I was like, wow, how?
Yeah.
I don't even know how old you were, Will.
I think I must have been like 20, 22 or 23,
young.
somewhere. Yeah, I was really young.
Yeah. And I was like, how the heck? I want to say another word, but I'm not, because we're all. How could he know this? And, it's really a testimony to when something is in your spirit. Whether you're young or you're old, it's in your spirit.
Right.
He shared with me that his father taught him a lot of the music. And you could share more about that, but I remember that when you said that, and I said, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Conrad, that was Monday night. That was the candy store.
Yes.
WNYU.
Yes.
NYU had their campus with the radio show. It was 89.1 FM, and you came on for an interview.
Yes.
And I remember that conversation because I had already gone to Together in Spirit before.
Okay.
Yeah, when Camacho was there, and I remember we had that conversation, and you were like, I'm looking to do Together in Spirit, bring it back, and I want to speak with you. And then we had that conversation, and I was like, say no more. And it's been history ever since. Conrad, like you mentioned, beginning Together in Spirit in 1996, right? For New York City, that was a crucial time because we're coming out of the golden era of house music, because the early 90s to like 92, 94, everyone was getting major record deals. A lot of the artists who were like underground were now mainstream. People were getting major artist deal like Orchard Nate, Jovan, Blaze, Barbara Tucker. Like people were really starting to, before you started, were really eating well off this house music. But then come 95, 96, everything went dry.
That's true.
And then we found that the Europeans were coming into New York City around that time, and they started this whole new movement. You know what I'm saying? You had promoters that were doing Limelight. I don't think Pacha was happening, but the Tunnel was happening still. You
Right.
had Sound Factory that was still going on, and
Yeah.
those were the mainstream because I believe at that time I think Shelter took its break, and then I think Body and Soul didn't even happen yet. I'm not,
Right.
I mean, I don't know if my time right is
You're right.
correct.
So it was not
No,
around
you're
yet.
right. It didn't happen
Did
yet.
right. So there was no Body and Soul. There was no Sunday Tea Party. So you created something at that time that no one had. Because I always felt like the Sunday Together in Spirit was the onset of the Sunday tea parties to go on a
That was
Sunday
such a
at 6
ritual.
6 p.m. So, I gotta say, like you really created that mark for New York City because at that time it was questionable what with the music and with New York City scene.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was,
So
and I guess that's what I was.
resurrected things.
I
What'd you
didn't hear
say?
you.
I said you resurrected things.
Well, that's probably what I heard. I heard, I hear holes when something is missing, and I have learned over time it's a spiritual gift. So,
Right.
my thing as a party goer, I wanted to have a place to go to. And so sometimes you have to step outside of yourself and just be the one and step in and make it happen. So I got to, part of it was personal. I got to have a place to go to on a regular. And then, the members and others had an opportunity to enjoy themselves as well. And I also will say that one of the um, foundational things with Together in Spirit is that I was very open about spirituality. It wasn't in the closet. I was very straight up. It's in the title, Together in Spirit. And every party since I first began the party, I always bless the space before
Yes.
the party goers come in.
Yep.
And there's some party goers that would come, members that would come and would assist in the blessing.
Hmm.
And it was a ritual.
No.
And what you saw a part of the ritual is an altar. An
Hmm.
altar is symbolic. An altar is elements of life, and it's very African. It's part of the African tradition. Actually, many of traditions,
Hmm.
has an altar. And so I incorporated that. And the funny thing, when I first did it, when I after blessing the space, after blessing the space, I put the altar in the corner on the side, kind of, because I wasn't totally there. I was there, but not totally there. Then after a while, whenever you came in Together in Spirit, right after you paid your money, right behind Terry at the box office was the altar. And people would come from their Buddhist meetings, they would come from the mosque, they would come from a Christian temple. People would bring flowers for the altar, they would
Hmm.
bring fruit for the altar, and it really was a part of the party experience. And I was committed to taking the party experience to another level.
Hmm.
I
So is
wanted,
that how you got that beautiful name, Together in Spirit?
it started from, I don't know how it came, but it started from the name. But I've also been doing, prior to that, I was doing spiritual practices and, going to ashrams and meditating and chanting. I used to sing in a choir in the church. I've traveled around the world, with Sissy Houston, Whitney Houston's mother, who was a gospel singer. I've been in that arena. I've been in, all different kind of spiritual arenas. And I knew that this party needed to be grounded in spirit so that it could stand out and it could provide something. It's like not making wrong any other party, but I just felt was an opportunity to bring it to another level, to enhance the party experience. Because when we are dancing in our underground clubs, it is a spiritual experience,
Mm-hmm.
and we know it, but I just wanted to bring those publicly bring those elements in, and that's what I very proud of doing that too, and I'm glad that the members gravitated and enjoyed it and loved it and embraced it.
Hmm.
Very nice.
And that altar is also like whenever, because I remember there's times where I would actually participate
Yes, you would.
and just bless the space by smoking out whatever we chose. I always felt like the altar was like a protector because it's like it's there right at the front of the door. And those who are spiritualists know that there's something about the door that makes it's very important.
Yeah.
And having a sacred space like together in spirit, having that protection is so important because people come from so many walks of life. People come to Together in Spirit for many different reasons, to get cleansed by the music, just being around people. So having that sacred energy, especially, I mean, what better person to have Terry right there co-protecting
Right.
the space,
Right.
because that's the first entity you see when you enter the doors before anybody. So that area alone, people would just come for that.
Right.
And
And it's a match for the music that we promote, that we dance to. The music that we dance to is very inspirational, spiritual, high energy, high lifting. Even when it's a ballad, it touches your heart.
That's right.
It's there's a difference. Like when we go to one of our parties, our hands are up in the air, our heart is open. Sometimes we may not even be fully conscious of it. We're not dancing down like this, or when you go down, but you're always coming up, and so the lyrics plays a very big part in the success of our dance parties.
So Conrad, you mentioned like when we go down, we go back up. Now, we had a few guests on the show, and we had a few loft members that talked about that. They talked about the floor, and you're going back up. And I just want to show this flyer here. I think this might have been the relaunch flyer for Together in Spirit. But correct me if I'm wrong. This, I don't know, but I mean, there's Fast Mike right there, who's a loft member. There's Mercedes Vega.
Yes.
We have Carolyn Bird, Glenn Thornton. There's Lovey. That's me, young me.
So many people from the loft would come to Together in Spirit, and at one point, and I can't remember who it is, wanted David Mancuso and I to have a conversation because they had been talking about Together in Spirit to him, and he loved the concept. And so we did have a telephone conversation, and he shared with me. He said, "Continue to do what you're doing." He said, "You're doing a very great job." It was very, very such an honor and such an acknowledgement. He said, "You're doing a great job." He says, "I'm hearing what you're doing from law folks, and keep doing it." He said, "Make sure you always focus on the party is for the people." And I remember there was a blizzard. I can't remember the year, but it was in February.
I was there. I know.
Yes. And Glenn Thornton lived in mid New Jersey. It takes him about an hour and a half to get to the party, And he called me and said, Conrad, I can't come in to the party because he was a DJ downstairs. I said, well, why can't you come in? What's going on? He said, man, it is a blizzard going on. So I looked out the window and I was like, what are you talking about, a blizzard? Everything is everything, it's cool. He said, trust is coming your way. So I was like, oh my God, should we continue to do the party? And so I got on the TV and the news and stuff like that, and it said a blizzard, a nor'easter was coming our way. Mm-hmm. And we had a performer that was Jepte
Guillaume.
He was performing with his performer. What was the young guy?
So he Falling for You.
Yes.
Let me get his name.
Yeah, I love that record. Oh God.
And so he was scheduled to perform, and I was like, oh my God, how can I disappoint? What should we do it? And people were calling me and said, Conrad, please, we'll be there. And so I ended up going, and I convinced the owner to open up because he was hesitant. And it was over 150 people in a blizzard.
Blizzards don't stop nobody.
Now we had more than that day.
Sure.
That evening.
I don't know what it was.
It was more than that because we had 150.
It was a loft party.
Right. We had 150
that's right.
earlier, but when the loft closed, we had at least like 300, 350 in there towards the end.
How did y'all get from the loft?
They were stuck. We
walked. We tried to get a cab. We did everything. We ended up walking to the club in the sun.
Wow.
Yeah, that place is jam packed.
Group with me.
Conrad, that artist was
laughing.
That artist was Wesley Alexander.
Yes, Wesley Alexander.
Yeah.
Great. See, it takes a village. I can't remember all the names, but I remember the experience.
Yeah.
And he performed, and like you said, the loft came through. It blew me away when I saw them come in the door. I was like, what?
Yeah, they bum rushed.
Oh my God, it was
the look on your face was priceless. You were like, oh my God, you're all here. We're like, yes, we come to party.
And it's a prime example of trust in the higher power and be of service. When your focus is to be of service, all things are possible. And that's where we came from with Together in Spirit, is to be of service.
You also had a few core members who were lost. I believe Butch.
Oh yeah,
Charles Butch. He was a core member. I'm Lewis Key.
Yeah.
Loft Kid Lewis would do the balloons for us whenever we would need the decorations. So Conrad, like those marathon events, I imagine those were.
Oh my God.
Like those were the theme song, the theme concepts, right? Like you had a theme each week, right?
Every week.
Yep.
Yeah, the marathons were every holiday weekend. And being that it was a Sunday party, Monday when people didn't have to go to work, that was slamming time. Mm-hmm. And really the financially for the organization, those marathons were a great saving grace, because sometimes, when you get in the months of January or February, it's like leaner times, and those marathons would like really help us out so that, we could still keep going and keep flourishing. And it would be right now what comes to mind of a great marathon is when you upstairs and Herb Martin, who became a resident DJ also at one point. He was downstairs and you were upstairs, and it was like fire.
Yeah.
It was like fire. And I saw people going like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an incredible night.
Yeah,
Shouts to Herb Martin. Shout outs to Glenn Thornton,
yeah.
Carolyn Bird, Mercedes Vega, Ron Lester. Um,
Kim
so
Lightfoot,
Kim Lightfoot also. And
Jihad.
Rahman Muhammad.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And those they became residents, but then there was so many other guest DJs. So many.
DJ Beloved, Young Beloved, which you
Yes,
gave him his start
yes,
because
yes.
of Herb.
Yep, yep. When we
Yeah.
were
No
at
one knew
China,
Beloved at that time.
he
Yeah.
always, every time he sees me, he says, "Conrad, thank you, thank you, thank you."
Hmm.
He said because no one knew me in New York. You know, he's from New Jersey, and I was
Mhm.
like, I knew you because I heard you. You know, I had
Hmm.
gone to some club in Jersey. I was like, this brother is throwing it down. I don't care where you're from, Easter Bip, Harlem, Brooklyn, wherever. If you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
And
right.
but he is always so grateful, so grateful. You know, and together in spirit, we went through. You know, we were at a couple of places. So Demerara's was the majority of the time, but then we left there in 2005, and we temporarily went to Langston's in Brooklyn
Yep.
for 8 months, and it was definitely it was purpose. It was done. I asked Calvin, the owner, can we temporarily do it until I find another spot in Manhattan because the our crowd, Manhattan is that meeting place, is that median place where folks come from Jersey,
Yeah.
upstate New York, Brooklyn. It's like it's hard to get a lot of those people to come to Brooklyn, but I didn't want to stop the energy. And Calvin and I are very good friends,
Mm.
so we were there for 8 months on a Friday. And then after that, we went to Chinatown at 98
Ma-
Mott Street.
98 Mott Street. That
My
was a hot
street, yeah.
This
spot. I love that spot.
beautiful loft. And we were there once a month, and we were there for about 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, and but one of the things that I'm grateful for is that we we most of the times we had a stable place
Hmm.
for a consistent amount of time, and that makes a difference because people get familiar, get comfortable, and I always am committed to providing a space where I know the house heads, we're very particular, and that's not a bad thing. We're particular around
Critical.
space, we're particular around sound and
Critical.
energy. Critical? Um, yeah, but I
Hey,
don't. Yeah, we
Conrad,
can be critical.
shout out to Sweet Tea.
To who?
Sweet
What'd you
Tea.
say? Sweet
Uh,
Tea. Shout outs to Sweet Tea.
oh, all right, Terry,
Yeah, yeah.
Terry, Terry Felton. Yes, yes. But yeah, it's I really do. I'm clear that the party goer is just as important as the producer of the event. Is just as important as the DJ of the event. We all play our parts. And sometimes I think the party goer doesn't get as much of the credit because without people dancing on the dance floor, ain't nothing else happening,
Yep.
Right.
But it's a special relationship. It really
Hmm.
is. It really is.
So,
So
Conrad, you remember what you did at 98 Mott Street at one of the parties?
Oh my God. Um,
It was after the party. It was like a breakfast kind of thing.
oh, New Year's Eve?
Yeah, the chicken and
Yeah.
waffle.
New Year's Eve, we did a party and it was collaboration with uh, the Brooklyn joint. Uh, uh, um, what's the
Isn't it Ruben Tone?
no, no, no,
No.
no. Amu,
Oh, the clothing line.
In Montana, Moo in Montana is that group. I'm trying to think of the Bedford,
Bedford Hills joint.
right. We did a collaboration on New Year's Eve in my spot in 98 Mott Street, and
Yep.
it was off the
The
chain.
yes, it was
And we had breakfast. We had waffles,
chicken and
grits,
waffles.
chicken. We just went way out,
Yes,
and it just was an extraordinary event.
it was nice.
Another event in Mott Street was Glenn. I can't remember Wilson. Glenn Wilson. He came into the club, and he always would come to the club. And you know, Glenn, that he always would have like a duffel bag, and he would always change his clothes, which many of us do that, right? But I just can remember this specific duffel bag, right? So he came into the club on Mott Street, and we greeted each other. And he went and changed his clothes, and he was dancing with this other sister, and they were dancing all night together. And all of a sudden, I heard this commotion, and he made his transition on the dance floor. I'm just going to say it how actually it occurred, and I'm telling you, you know how people reacted is a testimony to our community. Because right off the bat, Kervin Mark's wife, I can't, wow. She has a very different kind of name. She came to the rescue right away when he fell out. And she was a medic.
Nurse.
The MT, what is the ones with the ambulance?
EMT?
EMT technician.
She was an EMT. She was on the dance floor. She went to his rescue right away, and she worked on him until the people came. The ambulance came. Once they came, she brought me in the back, and she said to me, Conrad, she said, they may not tell you, but he's made his transition. So they may want to, so as to help the crowd, they may want to make it appear as though he passed afterwards, but he made his transition on the dance floor. And let me tell you, it was sad. And yet, if I'm going to the other side, I want to go on the dance floor. Because the music was on fire. It was Herb, Martin, and Pookie. I don't know Pookie's last name, but Pookie. Man, it was fire. And early, and people started coming early that particular night. And I don't know why. And but we got through it. You know, everyone had to show their ID going out. And what I said to the cops, because I didn't want any problems, you know, because the truth is the brother made his transition. I brought the cop in the back, and I said, I want to show you something. I said, this is a membership club. The majority, I'm getting emotional, that the majority of people that's here are members. And I had 2 books of all the members and every party, because every member had to fill out an application. And I showed him, he was blown away. I said, so if you need to know who, blah, 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 I said, it's right here. You know, I said, there's no problems going on. We don't do drugs, none of that stuff. You know, and I had a license for liquor, for wine and beer and liquor. And I said, look on the wall. This is, you know, it's legit. It's nothing, you know. And the cops were really gracious. Once I set the tone with them, because if I didn't set that tone, it could have gone another way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And our crowd were just so beautiful. People took care of each other.
Wow.
And I don't know if that have ever happened in other clubs, but then there was another one of our brothers. Was it Hector, or who died at the club where you used to play? Also, Will
At Sapphire?
Sapphire. That wasn't Hector, was it?
No.
Nah, he didn't die in the club. No.
There was another, but there was a brother that died in that Sapphire thing. Well, anyway,
I can't recall.
But it was as I reflected later on, it was an honor that he felt comfortable enough to make his transition in our space. It took me a while to get to that, you know. But it was. Hey, look, we all will do whatever to get the dance on, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Right. I guess you dance like it's gonna be your last time.
Right.
That's it.
So, Conrad,
ready.
thank you for sharing that. That moment. I'm sure it wasn't an easy time for you to deal. I mean, I can imagine at that time, death. We don't plan death a lot of times, and for that, we didn't think that was going to happen.
Right.
But I can imagine, just the emotions that you must, you had to go through, and to be there for the members as well, and to show no emotion because you're the leader of that whole, event.
As you're saying that, it was a challenge trying to find a family member, because he would come, like many of us come to the parties. We know each other on the dance floor, but we don't really know all the details of our families and stuff like that. So I had to really, I think it was someone said to me they knew his brother.
Okay.
But it took a while because the police wanted to know the next of kin. And on his application, he didn't have that. But that was a question on the application. Who is your
Who was it? Wow.
Yeah. So that was a forethought, not thinking, that it would really be needed, but, it was.
Right. Who would think that would be needed sometime too?
Right. Right.
Yeah, because who knows, maybe the police officials would have considered it like an outlaw event, but being that you had documentation of some history, some demographics of each and every person that was in that establishment, it wasn't really considered like an outlaw because you had documents to show who you were able to take account of who was coming in through those doors.
Absolutely.
So that's what, yeah.
So there's benefits to membership.
Definitely. Yeah. So Conrad, like, Together in Spirit was a big icon for our dance culture, and you and I talked about it plenty of times. I'm like, we can no longer walk down the street without people saying like, and we not know who's who. Like, hey, Together in Spirit. Like, we didn't know who they were, but they knew who we were. And like I always tell people, you always in this business, you always want to be with good work ethics because you never know who's watching you or how much inspiration you might inspire other people, right? Because we may not know who they are.
Right.
But I believe not only just like our core members and dancers, but people in the music industry, and people, because we had New Jersey, we had Boston, we had Philadelphia. What else? We had DC. People would come from DC, and then some of the people from Asia started coming to Together in Spirit. We started getting a younger audience to where they saw what they saw and wanted that same thing in Japan. So I'm going to share something. This was Together in Spirit in Japan. Together in Spirit. This is Space Lab Yellow, Precious Hall. This event was marketed under New York City, and they wanted that. They wanted a Japan version of what we were doing. This event was sponsored by Rio Watanabe, Andre Collins, and Danny Krivit. Like, they were the ones who helped to make this possible.
Wow.
So, not only just, tri-state area, but
Right.
globally, internationally, people were really just connecting with what we were doing. And, I'll never forget one time, God rest his soul, Mel Sharin would frequently, and for those who don't know Mel Sharin, he was a big part of the Paradise Garage, a big part of that movement, would come to Together in Spirit. And I remember he loved the music because of the vocals. And I'll never forget, he would always say, Will, he used to always call it pots and pans music, danceable R&B, but he would say, Will, if Larry was here, he'd be proud of you because of what you're doing. I remember he would always bring Linda Clifford. She would come.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Tony Humphries would come.
Yeah.
Timmy Regisford. I remember, and Timmy's he's not in the crowd like that. So I remember one time he was like, Will, I'm really happy with what you're doing. And, at the age of 22, I'm thinking like, wow. We had so many entertainers and key recording artists come to, bless us with their talents. Like who were some of the talents, bookings you remember, and who did the bookings for Together in Spirit?
Conrad. The bottle washer, the producer,
Conrad was everything.
The first.
You show us everything.
Hey. The first performer was Sarah Dash. And her manager happened to be a friend of mine, and they asked me, could they perform at Together in Spirit? And that was in between that 96, 2000, that time frame. Ultra Nate, Michelle Weeks, Jepte, Jepte
Guillaume.
Thank you. And you shared his performer, the name you looked up.
Wesley Alexander.
Wesley Alexander. We had Dawn Tolman was a regular.
Regular.
Yes.
When her first songs were coming out, they, because she was working with Glenn Thornton, who was her under his label. Sabrina Pope, another ancestor. She loved Together in Spirit, yo. She moved to Germany, but every time she was in New York, she was at Together in Spirit. She even would boast about Together in Spirit when she was in Germany.
Ambrosia.
Oh my God. And Ambrosia, when I produced a show at McKell's on 97th Street in Amsterdam. It was a jazz club. It was the club, right on 97th and Amsterdam on Columbus. Right now it's a freaking Whole Foods, but on the corner was McKell's. And she and her other two sisters were my background singers, and they were called Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. I don't know how to spell it, but that's what they call themselves. Ooh. And those girls, their harmony was tight. And then I met Ambrosia later on, went to the music conference in Miami, and we saw each other. We was like, oh, Screaming Holland. And I didn't know that she was into house music, and she didn't know I was into
Yeah.
house music. And I just wanted to add that in. I performed at Together in Spirit
Yes, you
a
did.
couple of times.
Nice.
But wait, that's not the only spot you performed. I don't know if I can get this any
Oh, I want to see.
Yeah.
this was a legendary event right here. Not only once, but I think a few times.
Couple of times.
Clubhouse Jamboree.
Oh yeah. The first jamboree I performed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did it two or three other times after that over the years, because it's been many, many years.
The band shell, right?
Yeah, it was me and Ma Renee performed, and there
Miss
was some
Honey.
others I can't Renee. Yeah, Miss Honey. And the names escape me. There was quite a few, because I really was a commitment to having performers. But more of the performance, to me, the focus was the music coming through the DJ, that people have an opportunity to dance. And
Right.
and then downstairs I had jazz sessions for a while. You remember Hazy? She
Yeah.
sang.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Latino brother? Rick Robles?
Rich Robles.
Rich. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It takes a village. His jazz ensemble played down there, because I again wanted to create a different vibe. And downstairs, was a great space for that. We had the snacks down there. So
Mm-hmm.
people really, that was a place where people could be social. Even I had even asked the DJs to keep the level of the sound down a bit, so that people could speak. Upstairs, I wanted that to be full, blah 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 blah. And there's more performance, but it just right now I can't think of them
We used,
all.
we used to have Teresa Finney. She used to hang out with us.
Oh yeah, Diva.
Diva. Big Moses
Yes.
used to come in, and
Freddie
and this
Jackson
is
has been there.
yeah.
What's the guy that he was a backup singer for Luther Vandross. His name will come to me. He used to be there. So many different artists. The sister who was in the movie, not the movie, in the show Soul Food, Vanessa Williams.
Yeah.
Not the light-skinned one, but the brown
Right.
skin one.
She was in New Jack City, the thug sister, the
Right.
one that was killing people.
Yeah.
Rockabye, baby.
Yeah. Ron Brown, he used to religiously come that Evidence Dance Company. He even had an article in the Times that he had them to do an article on Together in Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So many different people from different walks, and it wasn't about the celebrity, because when they came, they wanted to be a part of the culture. They didn't want to stand out and be a celebrity. And quote celebrities did show up from time to time, and because it's the underground scene, really.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody want to party.
Absolutely.
Colonel Abrams used to show up. God rest his soul. He used to
Oh,
come
wow,
home.
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and he loved him some Will.
Conrad. But wait a minute. But he was pissed. But he was pissed at me at the same time.
Yes, he
Because
was.
remember, so he bought his record in, and he wanted me to play it. But I'm like, but Colonel, I haven't heard the song yet. He goes, I'm Colonel Abrams. You should play anyway based on that. But I'm like, because I remember remember the Larry Levan birthday? Was it Larry's birthday where we had David DePino and Joe Llanos?
Yes.
And we booked, well, Colonel, you booked Colonel Abrams to perform, but I think you were pissed at Colonel because he performed all the new stuff.
No, I wasn't there. I was in Italy. I was on tour. Mel Sharon was pissed at Colonel.
Oh,
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Mel was. That's right.
Yeah, he was very, very disappointed. But hey, look, we're all family and we go through it. And Colonel Abrams was Colonel Abrams. He would walk in and he would want to, you to play his music right away, even if you knew it. And it's like, and he would come up to me. He says, "Well, how come the DJ won't, play a moment? Have some patience, brother.
Nah, he was. I don't think he ever came back after that. I was on his doodle list after that.
Oh my gosh! Really?
He never came back after that, Conrad. And he had his entourage, and they were tall.
And also, we used to do once a year. We used to do the Bring Your Kids parties.
Oh, I was just going to mention that. I love that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's mentioned that before.
Yes. And now those kids are grown.
Yes.
Coco's
and they
kids.
remember.
Coco's kids were there.
Yeah.
They remember.
Yeah, and so many of them, and I mean, they would come in strollers. And I remember one of the young boys. It was Louis and Josie's young son.
Josie Rotundo and Luis Vargas.
See, there you go. And the young son, he came over to me and he said, I think it's time you can now put on the disco lights. I think this is time to do that. I said, oh, really? I said, what makes you say that? He says, look around. He says, because, just look around. And I looked around and he was right. They were ready. And so I went to the DJs. I said, could you put on the disco lights? Because we were kind of cautious. We didn't want the kids running around and, the lights can be disturbing and stuff like that. But he was like, basically he was like, we got this.
They were having a blast.
Louis Vargas said that? Loft Kid Louis?
No, his young brother. His baby. Who ain't a baby no more.
Well, because they understand they understand, their offsprings are loft babies. They went in very young.
Exactly.
They went in so young. So they wanted what their brothers had.
Absolutely. Yeah. But those parties were really, really great. And we didn't do them outside of Demerara's. And, but those 5 years, it was every year. Mm-hmm. And also once a year, we had a membership party where everybody would bring food. It would be a potluck. Mm-hmm. Members would get in free. It was always the first weekend of January. And members would get in free, and members would bring big pans of fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. What is it was Josie and what is the other sister's name?
Cindy Harden.
Oh, I love them so much, Cindy. They would bring a huge roast pork. And every time they had to bring the roast pork, right? And it just was really, really, we've had some great times, but it really is a testament of community, and I'm so glad that I learned from other clubs to do membership, like the Paradise Garage doing membership and other clubs prior to them. You know, that doing membership is really important. You know, it really has people to have a stake in the event of the party. It's not something separate from themselves. They are a part of it. You know, people had first. You remember we started off with the small little cardboard cards,
And
and
the
then
events.
graduated to the like credit card kind of card, plastic cards, and you know, just
So,
great experience.
so Conrad, you know how like the inspiration from the membership drive that all came from like just your experience from the Paradise Garage, that legacy continued because I mean, look, all of us here, we do that today, and a lot of that membership base came from just what your experience, like a lot of things that I learned from you just watching about club coordination, event coordination. I took some of that with me,
Yeah,
and I gotta say there were offsprings to Together in Spirit. You had Disco Party Fundraiser,
right.
which I considered like a nephew or a sibling to Together in Spirit because what Ron Lester, him being part of our camp and him branching off, doing his thing. So you can see a little bit of Together in Spirit in that. You come to Bliss NYC, you're going to see a little bit of Together in Spirit in that. Even when we were doing Gravity or Powerline in Jersey,
Right.
you saw some of that,
Right.
that concept. So it's like it continued. Like I always say, and this is just my opinion. Like Body and Soul 718, they were like siblings. They were separate, but they had the same network, and I always felt like the events that we did were like offsprings of Together in
Right.
Spirit.
But one of the things I will say, and thank you for saying that, because that was a part of my vision. You know, it's like pass the baton, train people to expand. You know, because it wasn't just about Together in Spirit; it's about you expanding as a producer. You know, as a DJ, expand and do and take what you've learned. Ron Lester approached me and he asked me to train him to produce parties. He specifically asked me to do that. So while his stay there he was very focused and very clear. And out of that, he created Disco Fundraiser Party.
Which was successful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, so it's each one teach one, you know. And what I learned is from the past as well. You know, although I was not producing events at the time of the Paradise Garage, but I observed their system. They had an extraordinary system. They had the membership system. They gave you different bonuses and incentives. They were cognizant of the different senses. At least this is how I interpreted it, because what I ended up doing was making sure that the place looked great, that it
Mhm.
smelled good, you know, handling the different senses. So the hearing, the music, and the sound system, the visual, you know, each week it was a different theme. And not just the theme on paper, but the design was different. And it was a lot of work. And sometimes I didn't want to do that, and sometimes the staff didn't want to do it, but we pulled together because we knew that it would make a difference for the party goer, for the members.
Yeah, I mean, even sometimes with the venues, like just dealing with the owners, sometimes was could be challenging, and sometimes it would leak on to the staff, but we never let that affect the service that we signed up for, which is to give people a good experience on a Sunday night. Because I remember plenty of nights where you were pissed, and we were like, "Uh oh," and we knew that it was related to something internally.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So that's when I come back around and I re-bless the spot again. I smoke out the place again because knowing that, the concept is we don't want anything. We want people to feel good when they come in. They needed that experience. They needed us at that time because of the service. You know,
and I'm
it's
glad
not easy doing events.
it's not, but I'm glad you bring that up because it's to me, it all boils down to relationships. So just as, Together in Spirit has a relationship with the party goer, with the members, also Together in Spirit had a relationship with the owner of the club or the venue. And I did not take that lightly. So it was a challenge for more than 5 years, 96 to 2005, working with Demerara. There was triumphs and there were challenges, but it was more triumphs than challenges. And over those years, we developed a relationship with the club owner and his brother Eric,
Eric, there you go. Eric.
the bartender.
Eric the bartender.
And Robert was the owner. And one of the things that I will say to you is that what I was proud of us doing Together in Spirit at Demerara, because they were a person of color. They were from Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's circulating our monies inside of our community. Langston's, a friend of mine and a person of color. And also Chinatown was also another family of color. And I was so proud to be able to do that. Now, I can't always do that. You can't always do that. But when you can, why not help out your community? Why not help? And I love the fact that we were diverse group of people that frequent Together in Spirit. But I would say the core people are gay, straight, Black, Latino.
Mm-hmm.
That's the core.
Mm-hmm.
And we have other friends who have, when I say gay, I mean LGBTQ, XYZ, so many letters now. I can't keep up with them. But all, I'm so grateful for that core. And over the years, to see how as New York has been gentrified, so has the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to embark on a new era after this pandemic eases up. We are gonna have to have conversations amongst ourselves. When I say ourselves, I mean Blacks and whites and Latinos and whites in particular, because there's a different come from that a lot of white people, they're not raised in the same way that we are raised. We have been intermingling and partying together for a long time. And there's this thing of dance respect, and it's not like you're taught it like blatantly when you're growing up, but it's a part of our cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And what my experience is, as more and more, particularly in the last 10 years, more white people have come to our dance parties, it has been tension. And we can pretend like it ain't, but it is. And the only way we're going to get through it, because the gentrification has happened. Look how our parties are not in Manhattan anymore.
Right.
We're out to Brooklyn. So as what I envision is having more conversations around our diversity, our differences, our similarities, because a person may not know when they get on the dance floor. You don't bust through the dance floor with a drink in your hand and spilling the drink. I know I hit a chord.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And I'm very out about it. I don't kowtow about it. I'm very straight up about it. And it's like, we're Together in Spirit. We were teaching people, even when like folks were doing the circle dancing, that they were spinning and da 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 da. And at that time, I can remember this particular time at Demerar's upstairs, folks spinning around and their cigarettes, and it just was an accident waiting to happen, right? So I had a staff meeting, and I'm sure you remember, Will, and I said, I want to make, this is before the cigarette laws came in. I said,
Mhm.
I want to make it so that no one can smoke upstairs, but you can smoke downstairs.
I remember that.
And that was bold to do that, but I was concerned about people's well-being. You know, yes, because we do dance, we hustle, we do this, we do, we do a whole lot of stuff, but at the same time, Demerara's was not a wide dance floor. It was more longer than
Longer.
wide, and so we did that, and I asked the members to join in with us. And if you see someone that's smoking, ask them, to go downstairs, say, this is the policy, but share it in love. Don't say, you smoking, you can't, don't be funky. Be responsible, and approach them with love. And it really shifted. It really should. And people, I never
And
have.
they were respectful. They really were.
They really
Yeah.
were.
You definitely took a lot of risk. I remember like creating something, and that no cigarette policy was something major to really do, and it worked.
Good thing.
Yeah.
So
What I liked best was the All Together in Spirit reunion. I love that.
Yeah, we've had some great reunions. Some great time.
The last
Conrad.
one was, how many years ago was the last one? Was like 2 years
Yeah,
ago?
that's the one. Yeah, the
That's-
one in Brooklyn. That was a beautiful
In Brooklyn,
space.
yes,
Oh
that
my
was
God.
nice.
Which one
That
was?
really nice.
Which one in Brooklyn?
The
The
last
last
one
one.
you did in Brooklyn, where you had Will,
The good room, the
you
good room,
had
is it called?
Herbie.
Prospect
Oh,
Park.
the good room.
The good room.
Yeah.
Good room.
Mahazi said the mansion.
The mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the one right before that. And
Mhm.
on
But the
right
good
off of
room, that
on
is
Prospect
beautiful.
Avenue. Yeah, good room was that was the first time we did something in a club.
That was beautiful. It had two
Oh,
sides, two sections, just like
Yeah.
Demerara's.
Yeah.
It was really, really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was a nice party.
who's?
That was a very nice party. That
Yeah, it
day.
was good. It was
It
good.
was good.
That was my birthday. That
I
was
know.
Oh.
Yes.
60-something.
Conrad,
Yes,
can you talk about the mansion, because that was different. That was, I mean, it wasn't in a club setting.
Right.
So can you talk about that?
So it was at Brooklyn Ethical Society, and Brooklyn Ethical Society is on Prospect Park, across the street from the park in Brooklyn. I can't remember the cross street right now, but it was an old mansion, and it had stained glass windows, the dark wood. A friend of mine did a party there, like a birthday party or something like that. And I was like, I think we could rock this. And what was great about it, it had the main dance floor was longer than wider, but it had those dark woods. It had fireplaces. So we had candles all over the place. Then it had a room off of that, which was a sunroom. It was a wide sunroom. So we had liquor on one side, and then we had snacks on the other. And then you opened up the door and you went outside to the patio, to the backyard, actually. It was a huge backyard, and I had it all lit up, and people were outside, they were inside, and then there was a second floor. And I had speakers run upstairs, but the speakers were not, it was the same music, but the volume was lower. So you could, we had nice comfortable couches up there and stuff like that. And it was really a beautiful, beautiful spot. But it was an issue of I wanted to do it again there, but it was an issue like because it was in the neighborhood. It was in the in
Yeah, it was
Liquor
across
City,
from the park.
Clarksville. Yeah,
Just
and
like
so
South Oxford place. Remember South
yes,
Oxford? It was
yes,
right
yes,
in the middle of the block. It was a mansion, and
yes.
you couldn't do a regular party there because it sat in the middle of a residential area. But it was
But it
set
was
up exactly like the mansion.
yeah, it was a good spot, and I brought in the sound. Um, he gonna kill me for not remembering his name.
Help him out. Help him out,
I
somebody.
got your back.
Yeah. Um. Oh, shoot.
So
You
it was two. Carlton Roseburg,
Carlton. Carlton.
who also does the sound system for Bliss NYC and for the Clubhouse Jamboree, Little Ray Clubhouse Jamboree, and we also used Herb Martin's system. So it was a combination of both
Yes.
that day. Yeah,
Yes. And the sound was impeccable in that mansion.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
really a great
Sounds
space.
so pretty.
Yes. And I didn't, we didn't have to do a whole lot of decoration. The space was the decoration.
It
Yes.
spoke for itself.
The
Yeah.
windows in the
Spoke for
fireplace
itself.
alone is all you needed.
Yes. So all we needed was like some candle lights,
Yeah.
flickering
Ambiance.
around.
That little
Simple.
ambiance.
Yeah, ambiance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, ambiance. So
Ambiance.
Conrad, you definitely you brought a lot of staff. It was like a reunion. It felt like everybody was coming back together. You had Butch, you had Adrian, Ladybug,
Yes.
and some of our sponsors like Ginny Harper from Liquid Sound Lounge
Yeah.
came, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like we were all together. The resident DJs, Herb Martin, Glenn Thornton, myself, excuse me, we were there, and it felt like just one big reunion.
It was really awesome. Awesome. It just it's a lot of work to when you bring everything. There's pros and cons to everything. So when you're doing it in a club, you got the sound system already there and blah blah blah, the liquor's already there. But with doing it at the mansion, um, I brought the liquor, got a liquor license, a day liquor license, and bought the snacks, bought
Mm-hmm.
everything. The DJs, y'all came in, and the sound and the decorations. It when it's over, I'm
Mm.
one tired person, but it's worth it. And so,
Yeah.
because I've done both, so when you do everything, and when you are in a club, one of the things I will say is doing it in a club when they're serving liquor, that's their focus, and I
Mhm,
can't
mhm.
make them wrong for it. But for our party goers, we're not heavy liquor
Drink.
drinkers. That is a fact. That's how it is, and I'm kind of glad it's that way because you want to have your faculties when you're doing a marathon dance, and
No.
you can't be drunk, high. You
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
have your faculties, and that's also a part of our culture. Our culture, this dance culture, liquor is not in the forefront,
No.
No.
but it's very
It's not our
challenging,
priority.
right?
It's
But it's
never
very
been our
challenging if
priority.
you're producing it. If you're producing the event, it's very challenging because they're never satisfied. We don't drink enough for them. It's
Right.
never
No.
enough.
That's their focus, though. That's
I
their
ain't mad
focus.
at him. I ain't mad at him, but
Yeah.
that ain't my focus. So
No.
Conrad.
I had to
So
learn to do it on my own.
you
Right.
mentioned the importance of establishing good rapport, good relationships with the club owners for many reasons. Because of the type of events that we do. I mean, bottle service was big at that time. But the importance of establishing that relationship, like I remember, and I'm sure Rico can, and even Coco can testify to this. most of the events that we've done were either black owned or it was people who understood the culture. When we were doing Powerline at the Coffee Cave, black owned
Yeah.
and Househead.
Yes.
When we did Bliss NYC at the Social Butterfly, black owned, Househead. So, and with the community sometimes you want to hear what the community wants, but you also have to do what's right to protect the brand. Like
Absolutely.
when we were doing Social Butterfly, we were like, yo, won't you guys get a bigger place? It's too small, you got to get a bigger place. So when the team and I, when we all met, we were like, you know what, if we do this, the outcome might not be what it is. We might have to deal with a bar guarantee.
Right.
Bliss NYC was the only event that was happening other than 718 that was consistent.
Yeah.
Consistent every month. It was like clockwork. You knew it was second Saturday afternoon. So, it's hard sometimes when you have to lead the way, but also consider the branding, and also, you want to consider the people that you provide a service to, but also understand the longevity of the event. So
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. I remember there was a couple in Jersey, that location, young black couple, and they had a coffee shop downstairs. She used to fix food. They were very creative in their approach.
that dance floor where we used to dance was a backyard. It was outside.
Wow.
It was just open for the summertime. And then this is the Coffee Cave that was located downtown Newark, New Jersey before regentrification took over. Huh?
John
Halsey
Murray.
Street was John Murray. Right. Shout out to John Murray.
Ah,
So
John Murray.
yeah, the dance floor was actually an outdoor backyard area, and then he decided to close it off. It was year round.
It wasn't
And I
even a
remember,
dance floor. It was like a patio. It was a
yeah,
patio. When we first got there, it was a patio. And he built from the diner part, he built out and closed it and then put floors inside and then made it a dance floor. So the back became an artist space.
that's amazing.
and when it would rain, we would have to put buckets because it's sheetrock.
Yeah.
Not unfinished sheetrock. It wasn't completed because he just wanted to get it done and get to get the heads in. But you want to talk about a good time? Like it was like very raw, very basic back, and that's what people appreciated about the Coffee Cave and Social Butterfly. People would say like they felt like they were at better days when they were at the Social Butterfly because of the rawness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And being, it's kind of like being conscious, and like I said, relationship is everything. And the relationship that we had with Demerara is priceless. And now my relationship with Robert, who owned the building. He didn't just own the club; he owned the building, and he's selling the building. And I think he's now in Miami, and we've remained friends. And believe it or not, we helped him. Any of us who went through there, partied in there, we helped his young children to go to college. But that money flows. We are supporting his family and his business endeavors, as well as his brothers. So I don't take that lightly.
Conrad, not only just the brothers in that family, that whole block. We had people from FIT come in. We had people because for those who remember, the Shadow was down the block.
Shadow was down the block.
And people would come
That's true.
to our events because they hear the music and they didn't want to go home.
Nope. Take off their shoes because their feet were hurting. I said, you don't need no shoes.
because they realized they could be themselves. It wasn't about dress code any longer. It was about, what is this? And I remember having conversations with some people and they were like, we came from Shadow. I remember people found each other in Together in Spirit and wound up being couples and became
Married and
they were
You say
married
they
just
found each
by
other.
going to Together in Spirit.
that's true. That's true. But it's community. It really is a true example of community. And it
I
was
like when
more than the dance.
one night at Together in Spirit you did a photo shoot.
Oh yes.
I remember that,
And wait a
Conrad.
minute, who did I pick to be on the flyer?
Me and Mr. Mike Antonio. I still have the flyer too.
Absolutely. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful picture, and it was like y'all were leaning on each other back to back.
We
And
were just feeling this song. I don't think I don't know if it was Twisted. I don't know which song it was.
well, bring up Twisted. I'm gonna bring that up in a moment. Hold that
Ah,
thought. But it had downstairs had the branches that were
yes.
going all over the ceiling and over the walls.
Uh-huh.
It was very tropical down there.
Yes, it
And
was.
that we captured in that picture. You could see some of those branches.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yep.
I think it's a Demerara thing though. Uh,
Yeah.
Caribbean from Belize. Not
Yeah.
Belize. No. What is it? Belize of not Belize. Guyana. From Guyana.
Well, I remember because at Coney Island, you said, Coco, look at this flyer. And I was like, wow. Because I wanted to use it. Is it okay? I said, okay.
That's
And then
that's
people had me autographing the flyer at Coney Island.
What?
I said, are you kidding me right now? I was
yeah.
like, wow. When you
We
were giving
wanted
them
to
out,
we
when you were
wanted
giving
to
them
do
out in Coney Island, they're like,
yes,
Coco, is that you? And I was like, yeah.
beautiful, a beautiful picture, beautiful. We wanted to do a photo shoot where we captured in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
of folks partying. And the one that won was Coco and what's the brother's name?
Mike
Mike.
Antonio.
Yes,
Oh boy.
yes. A blast from the past, huh?
Oh my God. Calls me all the time.
Okay,
He's gonna always be in my life. Oh my
that's
God.
great. Please tell him I said hello. Please, please,
I
please.
will. He
Yeah,
knows me since I was in my 20s.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, getting to Twisted,
Oh, oh my God.
a connection to the branches that were twisted, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
The vine.
the
Every time
vine,
you
yes,
played
the
it. Woo.
vine.
Every time you played it, that was such a dangerous song.
Yes. Um,
That's why people got married from that song. You got me twisted. I'm gonna
and
marry you tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
It's
yeah.
Sunday,
another
Monday. The
thing.
courts open on Monday. We gonna get married the next day. All right.
Yeah.
Courts open Monday.
There
Matter of
you
fact, we don't
are.
have to go
There
home.
you
Let's
are.
just hang out
There you
here, and then Monday morning we just get married.
Sit on the steps, right?
Yeah.
are. Here
So
you
M-
come.
Michael recently told me, he goes, wherever I hear that song, if you're around, I'm grabbing you, and that's our song. And I was
yes,
like, oh my God.
I
He goes, they're not going to understand, but that's our song. I said, okay.
I met the producer, the manager of Alternate. I was at some party, and we were talking and stuff like that, and he gave me a CD of hers, and it was on um, Strictly,
Mhm.
I think Strictly Rhythm, but it was the time when Strictly Rhythm had closed down, and so the CD didn't move. It didn't get this. So he handed me the CD. He had he just wanted because he knew I did Together in Spirit, and so I brought it home and I listened to it, and I said, "Oh my God, this is a brilliant, extraordinary piece. This is a classic piece." And I didn't know Ultra. I knew of her, but I didn't personally know her. And now we're good friends. Um, and I brought the CD to Glenn. I mean, yeah, to Glenn and to to Will, and I said,
It was you bought it not only to us two, you bought it to everybody because we had a staff meeting in your house,
right.
and it was Glenn, Mercedes Vega, Lauren Smith, Carolyn Bird, Glenn Thornton, myself, and you were like, "Listen to this," and then you gave it to me. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you filled in the blanks, and Will and Glenn made it a Together in Spirit classic.
Yes.
And that, by them promoting it and playing it, and we would do all kind of things, turn the lights out, and it was just always when Twisted came on,
We knew.
we knew we all would have to go in. And
Yep.
I will say that we should take the credit for supporting that song to be the Twisted that it is, because it was getting lost in the Strictly Rhythm going under. And people loved it. And then at some point, we hired Alternate to perform it. And I said to her, and I know there was another version done by
But Conrad, that version didn't come out yet until we broke that song.
no, I know.
Because
Yeah.
right, because it was just the For Hero version, and then Louis Vega did a version, and Blaze did a version.
Right.
Not until afterwards.
And when she came to perform, I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ultra. If you're coming to perform it Together in Spirit, you have to do the original version.
Mm-hmm.
She says, oh, but it's slow. I said, you have to trust me. My crowd wants to hear the original version. And this has nothing to, against the remixes that Louis and Kevin did. And she did.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd went bananas.
Crazy.
And it was packed.
It was packed that night. It really was.
Packed. It was packed. And go ahead. You were gonna say something, Will?
This was Alternate Tay live at Together in Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Conrad, Sweet Tea said to drink some water.
Thank you. I will. I'm gonna go get some. We can't hear it well.
No, we can't hear yet.
It's not starting.
Is the devil being busy?
Can't hear it?
Nope. It's
Hey,
not
Sweet
starting.
Tea. Hey, Terry. That's the sisters right there greeting you every time. Before Ron came on, and they would do it back and forth with each other. Ron Lester.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't share the
While
audio.
you're doing that, Terry and I, we grew up together. I would leave my building, go to her building, and pick up her brother, because her and her brother was like a year apart, and we would walk to elementary school together. And Terry and I used to hang out she was the one that turned me on to the Paradise Garage.
Terry?
Yeah. Yeah. We were good buddies forever and ever. You know how you become such good friends that you really are family?
Yep.
You know?
That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So Conrad, So how did you? It's I believe it's Biscuit Bill
Yes,
the manager for Orchard.
yes.
So was it hard getting that booking? Like, did you have to do like a lot of negotiation with that, or like how was that?
No, it wasn't hard. It was no. I reached
Okay.
out to him, and it really was it was a flow
Okay.
because
Can,
I think they got that um, the buzz. We created a big buzz for that song.
so Baltimore caught on to what we were doing already, so it made the negotiation easier.
Got you.
All right. Can you hear the audio?
Thank you. I love you.
Yes.
Turn the party back over to the DJ, Sean. Thank you so much.
You can hear it?
Yes.
All right.
Woo!
I'm twisted on your love. Yeah.
Can't play the whole thing because of the copyright.
Keep on
Play what
doing
you can.
it. Oh, yeah. Keep on doing it. All right. Keep on doing it. Hey, yeah. Keep on doing it. Thank you so much, New York. I love you. Thank you. Twisted, 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 twisted. You know what it means to be twisted on somebody's love?
Woo!
If you've never been twisted on somebody's love, you ain't in love, bro. You haven't been there. It's something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful thing. Come on.
Thank you, Will, for that.
Thank you. I
That
love you.
was beautiful. I
Turn the
love it.
party back over to the DJ, Sean. Thank you so much for all the love, New York. I love you.
And
That
she
was-
did a
No, give us some love, y'all. Come on. She done sang like her repertoire. I mean, really, I want to thank Ultra, and I also want to thank Bill, her manager, because he really have been very supportive in having no, you a DJ too, so you know you want to be seen. This is Bill Coleman, her manager, and he's a DJ also. Oh, and a dancer. All right, I ain't mad at him. All right, we are all very multi-talented. But give it up for Ultra again. So I got two announcements. Thank you, Ultra. Two announcements. The first announcement is, listen up. Thank you, baby. Excellent, 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 excellent. I just want to make this announcement. One is, and I know most of you know, but most of you ain't listening, that I'm going on tour to Europe. And I'm going to sing. And I'm going to be singing with the founder of Sweet Honey in the Rock, Bernice Reagan. And it's a piece called The Temptations of St. Anthony that is awesome. Awesome. I ain't getting your taste. When it comes to New York, I'll give you a taste. It is, no, seriously, it is something that is going to change the course of time. It's kind of like a gospel opera. It's I can't describe it. Awesome. So the second, no, I'm not gonna sing it. The second one is on Wednesday, this Wednesday, which is, you better be quiet. There's always a heckler in the audience. Sing it. See, there's always one. I love it. So, but really, listen up. We're gonna have a soulful talk. We had one in December. I'm not gonna scream. I just gotta use my voice next week. So we're gonna have a soulful talk. We had one in December, and the talk is about I know how to get people to be quiet. I just shut up. But this is very important. The Soulful Talk is about our industry, this soulful dance music, this dance music. And the topic of discussion is defining our industry. I still hear people talking. No, because it's very important. It's very interesting when it comes to important things. We chitter chatter and stuff
Hey,
like that.
Coco,
But
you
it's
need
very
water.
important because we are
Yeah,
the
I'm drinking
designers.
some now.
This industry is us. And the purpose for the Soulful Talk is so that we can begin to redesign this industry so that it's satisfying to us. I want to stop hearing people complain about it. I want to stop hearing not enough. I want to stop, I want to stop. I mean, this is a great party today. A lot of people here. Every party at Together in Spirit is great. Whether there's 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, 200, 300, 500. Because it's not in the numbers. But business-wise, sometimes it is. Because you got to pay the rent, So, but it's really, we obviously love this music. Else we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be doing it on a regular basis. And if you're new to it, you're gonna be back, obviously, because it's got to touch your heart. So it's an opportunity for us to begin to engage in conversation. And I'm not going to talk over people. Please give me a moment. Please give me a moment. I love you too, baby, but give me a moment.
So, all right. So that
I
was
really want us to take the time. So Wednesday, there is no charge. That Together in Spirit is going to fund this. It will be here. It will be on Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And so bring some snacks. It's going to be potluck, a dish or something that we all can share, because we really need to market this music and this scene differently. And I'm going to stop talking because I am not going to talk over y'all.
all right. That was 2003.
Wow.
2003, y'all. So conversations about changing the dance scene and the culture, that's how far back we've been trying to work on rebuilding the dance community and the culture. So that was Memorial Day. That was a marathon event.
Yeah.
And that was recorded live at Together in Spirit at Demerara's.
Nice.
Wow, that's a special touch. That's a nice touch, Will.
Will has all the secret footage.
And that's the live version
I
of,
know.
you know what? I think I need to take that off the off the
Stop.
Mixcloud, because that's a version that nobody have.
I know.
Nobody has that version.
Yeah.
That's a live version. Someone said it in the chat room. I think it was either Sweet Tea or Mahazi Bass. That's the live version.
Yes, it is.
We're gonna have to make this private.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a live
You
version.
better.
There's no version of
Make it
that.
exclusive, Will.
You better.
All right, so family, anybody got questions for Conrad?
I think he covered it all.
Will we have
think
another
so.
reunion party?
Especially that last sermon we just heard.
Why, Rico?
So, Conrad, what's that song that you were doing in tour?
With the what?
What was that song you were doing in tour?
Oh, the show.
Yes.
Well, first I'll answer Miss Paradise question, and I don't know when a reunion is going to be.
After this pandemic, yes.
That was my next question, but she
We'll
beat
see.
me to it.
I'll listen. I'll say I'll listen. We'll listen. We'll know. You know, and that's been my driving force, is to listen. Is for the appropriate time. You know, because this thing called Together in Spirit is driven by spirit, and sometimes I personally may want something to go a particular way, but when it ain't the right time, it's not the right time.
So
So
Conrad. So
I'll say this. There was one time I had to have knee surgery, and I decided I wasn't going to do no physical therapy. I was being stubborn. But every Sunday, I went to Together in Spirit with my cane, and I did a little two-step, and that was my therapy. That
Wow.
was my therapy for healing my knee. But
Wow.
didn't go to physical therapy, and the knee has been good ever since.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Every
so
Sunday.
Wow.
so Conrad, Mahazi Bey said a destination party in a hot climate with a beach or Atlantic City. Rix
Ooh.
wants to Sweet Tea wants to know when is the next Together in Spirit event.
Well, like I said to Miss Paradise, when the spirit says so,
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm listening because it really is. It's always been driven by a need,
Mm-hmm.
and we all will say when it's time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I remember I
Gotcha.
used to ask you for years, when you gonna do a reunion? When you gonna do a reunion? I used to bug you.
Yeah,
I
so
used to
So
it wasn't
bug
right.
you.
It wasn't right.
I
I
know.
also want to answer your question, Coco, that the show was called The Temptations of St. Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Temptation of St. Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an opera, and it was African American music from 18th century to present.
Nice.
And Bernice Reagan wrote all the music to the opera, and it was all now none of us. It was a cast of about 15 or 18 of us, who all of African descent, Black African descent, and we're not opera singers, but we sang our music. But the style of the show was opera, and we
Okay.
traveled all the opera houses around Europe. We went to different parts of Europe. We went to Australia. We went to just all of the one place in the States that we performed was in BAM. And that was the only place that we performed in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I'm not the same person. And it's all related because interesting, she had a house song inside of this opera.
Mm-hmm.
It was a house track.
wow.
Right.
It was a dance music because it's a part of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It was gospel, it was blues, it was call songs, field songs, and also house soulful dance music.
Very nice.
So I just want to take this opportunity to give some love. Shout outs to Bianca Price, Muata Jelani, Cindy Harden,
Oh,
checking out. Lisa McBride is with us. Ace House Nation,
Nice. Hey, Hayes.
Yannick, Yannick Molina. Shout outs to those who's checking out the show on Facebook. Michelle Lee, getting a lot of love today, Conrad. King Lion Christian, Luis Vargas, Rick's
oh,
1972, Mahazi Bass, Sweet Tea, uh, It's Negra. On the check-in, we
yeah.
have Van, Set Mel that's checking out the show. Queen Usher is hanging with us. DJ Nubian, um,
Wow.
Des 823 is checking out the show. Grandma's Secret, Rob Bass. A lot of love today.
Oh,
Lot of love, family.
that's so great.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Conrad. So, Rick's had a question. Her question is, what shaped you in the house scene?
What's what?
What shape? What shaped you in the house scene?
I don't understand the question.
Well, if I'm getting it right, like I guess as far as like just I guess developing, or motivating to do these events, strategy wise, like
Being a
what caused you to
dancer.
shape that?
What inspired me? Maybe that's
Yeah,
too.
maybe he's inspired. What
Maybe,
inspired
yeah.
you to do that?
What the ultimate is to have a place where people can release and let go on the dance floor.
Yep.
You know, I'm really a dancer of this, lover of this music, and
Mhm.
it is it has been my therapy.
Mhm.
You know, has gotten me through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, now the 2000s. You know, non-stop, non-stop. And so sometimes I'm the one on the dance floor, and sometimes I'm the one producing the event. But even when I'm producing the event, I find time to get mines in
Mhm.
because my spirit requires it.
Mhm.
So all that I do because I know this is the best therapy. This is the best. It's a healing force,
Yes, it is.
and we have been so blessed to party to this music. Um, and
Yes,
amazing,
indeed.
it's amazing that you know I've met so many people on the dance floor and never spoke to them until later on, but connected as I was dancing. And some of those people have been lifelong friends of mine, have become
Mhm.
lifelong friends of mine.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's like imagine the world if the world um, knew the world that we know.
Mhm.
Conrad, Sweet
Very
Tea
nice.
has a question. Where did you get your start?
Well, it depends on what area. Um, I'm not sure what you means in reference to start. You know, I'm an artist, and you know, and I'm an entrepreneur artist. And so I've done so many different things underneath that umbrella. One of my mentors is Barbara Ann Tier from the National Black Theater,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and she taught me, being a mentor of mine. She taught me about the I am. You know that I am that I am that I am.
Mm.
Mhm.
I am great. I am fabulous.
Mm.
I immerse myself in possibility. Another mentor of mine is a man by the name of Fernando Flores from Chile.
Mhm.
And I took a course with him called the Ontological Design course. And it's all in the area of education is called transformational education. I also did the landmark uh, S training and the forum. It's called the forum now, but in 1980 it was called EST. And since I got introduced to the transformational education consciousness, I have been doing it since 1980 through Landmark, through Fernando Flores, Barbara Ann Tier. She incorporated this consciousness through Black theater. Also, I've been involved with an organization called the International Black Summit, and I've been involved with them since 1992. And I am a facilitator. I facilitate conferences around transformational consciousness. Is that people for us all to know that we deserve, that we are enough, that we are more than enough, that we are powerful beyond measure, and that we can stand in possibility.
It's
And
beautiful.
that's a choice. And you doing together in spirit is in alignment with where I come from. Because my commitment is that people understand their greatness. That we all get to understand and develop and fulfill on our visions. And if you ain't got one, get one. Seriously.
That's right.
You
so
know,
so
go ahead.
so Conrad, so Sweet Tea just clarified it. When did you first get your I guess in house music? That was the clarification of the area of focus. When did you get your start?
Well, I would say in the 70s, going out to different clubs like Leviticus and Pegasus and Melons
Oh,
and
No,
Better
it's
Days and Paradise Garage. And Miss Terry Felton is the one who introduced me to the Paradise Garage.
I think she just wanted you to say that again because I know you said it already, but
So,
Sweet Tea wanted to hear it again.
well, she,
Nah, she was just clarifying for Rick. I'm just messing with her because she.
yeah. No. That's cool. So, yeah, like, like in the 70s and all that, there were clubs everywhere in Long Island and New Jersey and New York City and Brooklyn. It was like everywhere you went, people were dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Restaurants would close, when they finished their food, and then they would open up at night, move
iguanas
those
were
tables.
iguanas.
Huh?
Iguanas?
Club iguanas.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we can start listing from top to bottom, but it was a period of rejoice, of releasing and letting go on the dance floor. The 70s was a very,
Absolutely.
very important time in America. And something happened and it got derailed. It got when that whole thing around disco sucks or whatever that campaign was
Mm-hmm.
but you know what, when something is spiritually right, when there is this force there, you can't kill it. So it went underground, and we have gone from underground to forefront to underground to forefront, and but it's still, we have been in this, many of us on this panel, we have been in this community for many, many years. Well, all of us have been for many, many years, and many of the listeners have been dancing to this music for many, many years. And I say, because of the sign of the times, that I suspect we're about to embark on another level. And my heart opens up to even think about the possibility of what's going to happen when we get back onto the when we get back to, we're a hug and grab crowd. I miss hugging folks. I miss being social.
Yes.
And I avoid it.
Touch is so important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Everybody, Ricoh, you too.
What happened? You ain't hugging me.
When I see you, I'm hugging you.
Mm-mm.
I got look, I got my shots. I got the one shot deal, and I got the Johnson and Johnson the day before they put a pause on it
Oh.
2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
The day before I got it, I didn't have any side effects. And look, I ain't promoting nothing. And I was totally against it. But at some point, I was like, if I in this house one more month or two more, I'm gonna go crazy. And yes, I go out to the grocery store and I go to the drugstore and those necessary things. But there is something that we often take for granted: is social interaction is so important. And that is why I'm suspecting that it's gonna provide a great opportunity for our scene. And at the same time, I say we have to prepare ourselves so we can take it to that level. We
I've
have
been
got to do
saying
that
that.
work.
I've been saying that.
Very important. Very, very important. It's not just gonna come.
The House of Scott has been saying that for the longest time.
All right now.
Shout outs to the House of Scott.
And in that house
Um,
is
So-
my
so-
brother.
And you
Rico,
know
you got
what?
vaccinated?
What happened to your speaker, Coco? Somebody
Yeah,
choked your
right.
speaker or something.
I know, right?
It's
Oh,
hard.
all right. So
It's
so so Conrad, like it's what you mentioned, it gives us hope because I mean think about before the house, the house community before this pandemic, people were saying, the club scene is dead, house music is dead,
No,
is
it's
this,
not.
is that, it's segregated. Now watch. Now
Mm,
for everybody who said house music was dead, watch.
It's not dead.
Watch.
well,
It's never been dead.
never
wait, no,
was.
it's never been dead. It's never been dead. Like I said, I've been dancing since the '70s straight. Never stopped.
Mhm.
Yep.
Never stopped. So, but I go back to we here on this panel. We hear whoever is listening on the various other platforms, Facebook and what are the other platforms you said, Will?
Twitch, Twitch,
Where
Mixcloud, they in here. The heads are in here.
we all bear the responsibility. We will determine where this goes. But I'm totally clear that it'll be more grounded in spirit than ever.
That's nice.
Well said.
So do the work now. Continue to work on ourselves now, because one of the distinctions in the International Black Summit that I'm a facilitator of, what we say is there is no out there. Ain't no waiting for somebody to do it or for someone to endorse it or someone to fix it. We are the ones.
Hmm.
And that is what I did when I stood up to stay together in spirit. I caught myself and I did not like hearing me complain. And I said, I got to take a stand.
So Conrad, there's a few more questions. Rob Bass has two questions for you, but his first question was, did you ever perform on Broadway in a musical or anything like that?
I never did Broadway. I've done off Broadway, but never Broadway. I've done. I've traveled to different countries: Italy, Spain, France, Australia, different parts of the country, the United States. But I never have done Broadway. But this life ain't over yet.
That's
No.
right.
That's right. Amen.
So Rob Bass's second question was, do you have memory of Carlos Sanchez or story maybe?
Yes, Carlos. What was his drag name? Was Carlita?
Yeah.
He wouldn't do drag a lot, but I did see him in drag once.
Yeah.
And he was gorgeous looking. Carlos, Carlos was the type of DJ that he would introduce a song to the dance floor, either a rendition of a song or a new song, and oftentimes the song was a classic song, and it would blow your mind. I mean, I don't even know where he would get these things. I never heard a DJ that would introduce songs the way he did. And he was a long time DJ. Just extraordinarily talented. And I also feel that he has not gotten his just due. Carlos is one of those, when I was sharing about how this community, this dance community started in the black and Latino gay community, he is a part of that era. And I'm so grateful for him for being a part of that era, introducing those various songs and mixes and stuff like that, because he had a lot of relationships with different mainstream artists. And so he would get these special, renditions that the average DJ could not get.
Mhm.
So that's my Carlos. I miss him.
Yeah, he's greatly
Rest in
missed.
peace.
Greatly missed. Um,
And
so
he has
Con,
played it together in spirit. Thank you very
that's
much.
right.
Mhm.
And Together in Spirit helped that song,
Mhm.
Spirit of the Dance, because that
Yes,
was a
absolutely.
Mhm.
Together in Spirit song.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely.
Actually, didn't the singer perform
Yes, he
that
did.
song?
Yes, he
Yeah,
yeah. And I
I
think
gotta look at my archive for that because I
Yeah.
recorded every show at Together in Spirit.
I think he
So
performed at Mott Street.
Mod Street.
I'm not
Okay,
totally sure. I'm not totally sure.
all right. So Conrad, so Together in Spirit almost had an opportunity to be showcased in a movie, right? If I'm correct.
You don't want me to tell that story, do you?
I
Yep.
mean, if you're comfortable, it's up to you. Without without sharing the names, it's whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Um, no, I don't want to share that story.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
But just know that we had an opportunity to be in there. Yeah, definitely spot on. All right. So
Well, I will say this, and I know you got other stuff, but Jelly Bean Benitez wanted to do a Together in Spirit compilation. Is it a
mhm.
compilation, a mixed thing?
Yeah.
And for some reason, something happened. I think that's when Together in Spirit left Demerara, so I was in limbo, and then Jelly Bean's organization also had a shift as well. But he loved Together in Spirit, and he was just really wanted to support it to get out there, but it never came through. He's such a
Mhm.
great guy too.
Yeah, he
Mm.
is. Shout outs to John Jellybean Benitez. Definitely check him out on Twitch TV. He's got his own channel. A true veteran, helped a lot of people.
Yes.
Very giving. So make sure you check him out. He's still around, still doing his thing. Um,
Mhm.
so the music that was played at Together in Spirit, whether it was at Demerara's, Mott Street, Langston's, um, was very. We were very particular on the type of music that we played because we made sure that the music was soulful,
Mhm.
and a lot of that had to do. Even though as the head of Together in Spirit, you really didn't. You allowed us DJs to have that musical freedom, but at the same time, the idea of what you wanted. Because again, at that time, you know, the, the the club scene was shifting. We're getting a lot of tribal, a lot of tech stuff that was coming in. So it was really important that we kept that soulful element. It was important the type of music that we were playing to match
Sure.
the concept of the event. You want to talk about that because you always talked
Yeah.
about the gospel, just the soulfulness.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason why have always characterized this music as soulful dance music. That the soulful part of it is the root part of it, and that inside of soul music, there's jazz, there's blues, there's gospel, there's house music, there's disco, and I'm talking about soulful dance music. There's so many different elements, but I was real clear that I did not want that to get lost. And I think techno is great. It's not my go-to music, but it has some
Mhm.
great elements in it because it comes from the root. Hello, from soul music,
Mhm.
and so it takes a little something something to keep standing in, promoting a particular type of genre, you know, um, and it's beyond a genre. I just with just the soul It's a feeling. You know, many of those songs, it's a feeling. It's a, you know, it's a spiritual thing. It's a, you know, so having gospel in there is important. Another aspect of soulful dance music, you know, and stuff that's gonna make you have an experience of freedom. And so that has been my driving force, my commitment to keep it soulful and having all those elements to come, you know, and the root of the music is black music. It's the root of it. And then there's Latin influence, Afro Latin influence. I mean, jazz. I mean, just so many layers, and it's awesome. And I can remember hearing the Clark sisters at the Paradise Garage when he played.
Yes.
You know, what's the name of the song?
Oh, you just played
You
it
bought
too.
the sunshine.
You bought the
You are
sunshine.
the sunshine.
And you know what? I didn't realize. Yes, I didn't realize until later on why I was so attracted to it. Because until I saw, I mean, I was definitely attracted to it. So their harmonies are like, you know, ooh, unbelievable. Like words cannot describe their harmony, right? Those sisters.
Yeah.
When they did that documentary, they said they were approached that they did the Stevie Wonder, the Master Blaster,
Mm-hmm.
was the root of that song.
Yeah, that's where
Wow.
she got it from.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either till now.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
where
root
she
of
got it
Master
from. And
Blaster,
she was afraid to tell her mother.
right?
So she brought it to two of her sisters because the mother wouldn't let them do secular music. And she was
Yes.
listening to secular music on the low. And that's where she got that song from.
Yep.
I mean,
And the root of Stevie Wonder's Master Blaster is reggae.
it's a reggae
Bob
song.
Marley. Bob Marley.
It originated as a reggae song.
But
He
the beat
got it
is a
from
reggae beat.
Marley. Stevie Wonder got it from listening to Marley.
Absolutely. So it's all intertwined. And now I can understand how I was so turned on when I heard it on, like Larry had the courage to
Yes.
break that song.
Yeah. Because that song slowed down the pace
Yes, it did.
of the vibe. It was just stop the pace of the
Yes.
vibe.
It's not a 4/4.
Leave the floor.
It's not a 4/4. It's a 6/8 rhythm. So it's
Yeah. It was just boom, stop the pace.
So it's not. Yeah.
So you know,
That's what Larry did. Larry did stuff like that.
And he would throw that song on, and they was afraid people was gonna scatter from the floor, and it just rose up it just rose the crowd up.
but you know what the person that asked about Carlos. I have another story to tell about Carlos. I remember hearing for the first time him playing Natalie Cole. What is that song name? Y'all know it.
We know it. We know it.
Da, da, da. Somebody in that audience know it. It's it's an old song, old classic songs from the 30s and 40s that her father would sing, and she sang it, and it became
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
No.
No.
Someone write it in chat, huh? Someone write it in chat. It became a club song,
Oh my
Shoot.
God, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't think of it, but I know what you're
Oh my God. Straight up jazz with a
yeah.
house thing on it. And he was the first person who played that, Carlos. And it blew me away. Someone will come up with the
Oh
name
my
of it.
God.
I guess this
Well,
is
you
named
know
that
this
tune, huh?
song, Will. You know this song. Oh my God.
Yes.
Because it came out. It came out as a remix at the same time that they did the remix of Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay.
Um, is it More I Want? Oh my God, I know the song. Oh, Will, you know this song.
I
You
know
know,
it's a duet. I just can't remember it. I'm trying to
It's a,
think. I'm
no,
I'm,
no,
I'm
it's
doing
not.
I'm doing the alphabet. I'm
It
going
came
A B
out
C D E F G.
oh,
I'm trying to
it's
get it.
not a duet.
It's not a duet. She's singing it straight up.
no, it's not a duet. But Will, think about it. Coffee Cave. You used to play it with the
Tell
Teddy
tell me all about
Pendergrass.
it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
There
yes.
you go. There you go.
Oh my
I was just
God. It was
I was just
stuck in
I was
there.
just getting your creative
All the
juices going. I knew it all
time.
along. I was just
I
playing
heard
with you.
Oh,
I
you're
knew
you.
right.
all along. I was
I
just
do.
waiting for you
You
to
Because
pulled
really
it
Will
get
used to
it.
out.
play
I
it
didn't want to
all the
make it seem like I
time.
knew it all.
Right,
You
Oh,
right.
come
did
I,
know
on,
it
that
Will.
all.
I understand.
When
That's a,
you
Go to the
tell me
library.
all about it.
Go to the
right.
library. Everybody is kidding. So,
So that's jazz with a little house beat on it. Another thing, like another song is um um
go ahead, make it.
Sea Lion Woman.
Oh, wow.
She
Uh-huh.
made that in the 60s or 70s.
Nina Simone.
Nina Simone.
Hmm.
And you play that song, the original song don't even need to be remixed.
Nope.
And it's
Mm-mm.
appropriate to our dance floor.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like all those elements are inside of dance, soulful dance music, and that's why I want to keep that. So that one of the things that has happened with many of our genres is that people say, "Well, it's gotten stolen." I don't listen. You can't steal something you don't own. Okay, like intuitively own. But the
Right.
the thing is, us understanding and learning how to market and to stand up and say, no, this is our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes true for our culture, our dance culture. No matter who comes, because at some point you can't hold it back just for a certain, you know, race or type of people.
Group.
Because when
Group.
it's powerful, it will reach the masses.
Yeah.
It will touch their hearts.
Yeah.
But I go back to we bear the responsibility to keep the integrity. That's the word. To keep the integrity of our music, of our scene,
Yeah.
and
And keep
that's
it
why you guys
authentic.
doing, huh?
Keep it authentic.
Keep it authentic. But the only ones that are going to be able to do it is us.
Hmm.
All
Does
right, so
Together in
so
Spirit have an anthem?
What Will? Will,
there's
do
a
you have
few.
that?
Yeah, Twisted is definitely on the list.
That's the anthem? Okay.
That that
That
that
one and
definitely
another
was an
song you used to play by Blaze. I used to always ask you to play it.
which one? I
Oh
mean, How
God.
Deep Is Your Love was one of those songs. Space Rider.
Thank you.
Um, Thank You was was a
Thank it was
was a
thank you.
was a
It
big
was
song.
it was thank
Um,
you.
you That's How Much I Love You. There was so
That one
many.
too.
Oh,
It was that one
yeah,
too.
Okay.
so
It was
many.
those two. It's a
So you
whole
have a
bunch of
long
them.
list
That
of
was the one say,
anthems.
can you play that
Oh,
song for me?
yeah.
There were so many because again, we were very particular what we were playing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so Conrad, so my last question is, and we'll open it up for everybody else before we close. Now, 1999, 2000, Shelter, Body and Soul comes back. What's the relationship? What's the correlation with with those two events and with Together in Spirit?
What's the core relationship? Is that we were playing, I called it soulful dance music. We were playing the same music, and we all three had different approaches. The intention was for people to dance and have a good time. But that combination of the classics and the new house music, the fusion, that was common between all three of the entities. And we all had our different styles. Now, did we all get along all the time? No. And we all supported each other, whether we would say that or not. Because people would go from one party or another. Blah, 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 blah. My motto was, people go where they need to go. You know, if you don't come together in spirit this week and you go to the Body and Soul or you go to Shelter, do that. They were at different times, but they were back to back to back. You know, there was Shelter that was first, like, and then the Together in Spirit, and then Body and Soul. You know, in reference to time over the
Timelines.
Some people just did all them damn parties at the same time.
So, you know, the relationship I saw between, you know, the three events was it all supported and we all worked together, you know, in a healthy way, in a respectable way. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you had Shelter, which was a Sunday morning event, early Sunday, 12, you know, midnight.
Saturday into Sunday.
Right. Saturday, right. Now, those diehard Shelter heads will literally wait in the parking lot of Demararas because we opened at 5, and will come to the event and still give the love for Shelter, still give the love for Timmy, but knew that, you know, they were coming into Together in Spirit. So it's like you had your core Shelter members and you had your Together in Spirit members together.
Right.
Then you had Body and Soul closing, and then their core members, not only the core members, but their DJs.
Right.
Francois Danny Kravitt will come into Together in Spirit because they understood the unity that was required at that time. Yeah. And the reason why I bring this up, because I can only imagine when things do come back, we're going to need that unity because everyone's going to try and fight for the same thing.
Absolutely.
So many people became DJs during this pandemic. So many people became event coordinators during this pandemic. So we got to, like it was said earlier, we got to work together because we did it. We did it during 9/11. And we got to do it again.
And I'm really glad that at that time those three parties were options for people. You know, and you know, one of the things that I'm clear that everybody ain't gonna be my customer. And if you are, great. And if you're not, great. You know, go where it's a cup of tea for you. You know, but you're welcome at any time, at all times. And not only that, me as a party goer, I would go to the Shelter when I could. I would go to Body and Soul when I could. I performed at Body and Soul at one point when I was doing Together in Spirit. You know, you know, and 718 came out of Body and Soul, a derivative of Body and Soul, and I was an avid 718. It was easier for me to do 718 because of the day was different and different time. And you know, they have always been very respectful of me and of Together in Spirit. And we all learn, we all grow, because in business they teach you in capitalism about competition. But I've never been a competitive person in business. I can't do what you do. You can't do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different gifts.
Mhm.
And I've never been that uptight about competing. I'm just glad that all of that is available for people. And then during the week, you used to have party during the week on a Tuesday,
Mhm.
Touch Tuesday,
and then there
Sapphire.
was stuff on Wednesdays. And I remember, body Sound Factory Bar. That was prior to, but that was a Wednesday party. There was other things. Around the corner
At
was
Adam Scott
Idlewild,
was doing I forgot what Adam Scott was doing. He was doing something on a Wednesday,
Central
and that
Fly.
was well, yeah,
It was
that was
before it
during,
was called Central Fly.
yeah. Well,
And then,
that's that era, yeah. With
yeah, so all the stuff during the
Eric
week.
Murillo. That
Marilla,
was Eric
right,
Murillo's thing.
right, right.
God
You-
rest Eric Murillo.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe this reflection time of this COVID will have us to appreciate each other more, to
Mhm.
have us appreciate the events that we do, to have us appreciate releasing and letting go and dancing, on the dance floor. And like I said, well, I didn't say, but last year I didn't go. I purposely would not go out to, even they had some outdoor events. I wouldn't go
Mhm.
because I'm a hugger, and I
Yeah.
know it will be hard for me to resist the hug.
Talking about those pop up
Yeah,
events.
them pop up
Yeah.
Pop,
events,
pop,
and
It
pop,
was
pop.
hard not to
I
go.
was
I
like, I'm
tried. I
staying.
couldn't do it.
Like
I wasn't ready.
what did Auntie say? Auntie, what's her name from the? She's a congresswoman.
Maxine Waters.
Maxine was Auntie. She said, "Stay your ass at home," and I followed her instructions. She said it. I'm just repeating what she said. So I did do that, and like I said before, I'm ready. I'm ready to come out and to hug and to dance. And if you ain't ready to hug, it's fine. But I'm ready.
I'm ready to.
All right. Um, this has been amazing. Like we actually went over an hour and 7 minutes, and
Wow.
Wow,
you
really?
definitely yeah, it was an awesome discussion, Conrad, on just your life, your dedication to Together in Spirit, and just how influential, excuse me, you have been for so many people, including myself. I was just a young guy, young dude, and you took that chance, and it's like I said, Together in Spirit will always be in my heart, no matter what gig I'm doing, no matter what event, and people remember that. It's like whenever they talk about just you know me or anybody here, they always reverted back to Together in Spirit. you know um so you helped to make that possible, and I thank you. So that's emotional for me because it's like that was my stomping ground. That's why I learned almost everything. I learned to be confident. I remember one time you told me, I said to you, a discussion we had plenty of discussions. I said, Conrad, I'm not a performer. You're like, yes, you are. And I'll never forget that. And from that day, I realized that, yeah, you whenever there's an audience and you have to do something that's a craft or a talent, it's performing.
Yeah.
And those things have stuck with me. And people who didn't know me, they're like, who is this guy?
Mhm.
To today, that event is what helped me. So you
Oh,
made that possible, and I thank you. It's emotional for me because, like I said,
that's sweet.
that was boot camp. That was trial and error. That was a lot of blood, sweat,
Those sweaty
pain.
tears.
Even you and I bumping heads sometimes, but it was all love, and it was all to help prepare me for for things that I needed to do that helps me today. And I thank you.
Thank you, Will. We were a dynamic team because it takes a village. It takes a team of people, and one of the things I know that I could hear Lawrence and you saying, Lawrence in particular, Lawrence Smith, rest may he rest his soul. He was like, "Why you always say you are the producer?" I said because I am.
Yeah. We would be in Miami
Don't get
on
into it.
vacation. We'll be on vacation in Miami and same thing. Why are you calling yourself the producer?
Because I was one is that I was bold enough to own that. Because I was not just a promoter. I was a producer of an event, and underneath that comes many different things. So I shared that, one with courage and one with honor, to produce an event, and the intention was to produce a successful event. And underneath that comes a whole staff of people, and I thank you guys, the whole staff of people that participated over the years, because y'all supported me in my vision and helping me to fulfill on my vision. And inside of that, I was adamant that y'all should have an individual vision inside of my vision, a separate vision from my vision. Because if you don't, it's like, I'm not that much in my head, in my ego. It was not about just me. Although I am in that, I will not include me, but it's about us all flying. It's about us all thriving, and I'm grateful to have had the experience of producing Together in Spirit, and it took on a life of itself at some point. When I had these big, huge books of the membership, and who knew that it would come in handy, as I said, with the police officer. It calmed his spirit. It centered him, that he really got who we were. Because I was clear. My job was to explain to them, because he first started off, the energy was intense. It was like, like that. And from my training over the years, I learned it's about relationship. I'm not intimidated by a cop, but I'm real clear. You're not going to intimidate me or anybody in here, because I respect every person that comes to the party. We all demand to be respected, and he got it when I broke it down. He got it.
Wow.
So it's all by divine order. And it has been a great road trip, and it ain't over.
All right. So, family, you heard it here from Conrad Neblett, Together in Spirit. Conrad, we hope that at some point you do consider a reunion, as you can see, or you will see, when you review the show. People been asking for it, so people want it. So that reunion, hopefully that'll be in the future for you.
Can I say one thing that
Yeah.
comes to my mind, which is very important, is that one of the most challenging things has been the rise of costs to produce the event called Together in Spirit. Not just Together in Spirit, but to do a soulful dance party, a house party, is very, very expensive in Manhattan and in Brooklyn and in Jersey and wherever we do it. So what's required is to continue to think outside of the box of how to produce it in a way where everybody wins. And that's been one of my most challenging aspects of producing Together in Spirit, is to keep being creative, keep thinking outside the box, and not losing sight of the core reason why we come together. So that is going to be something we're going to be faced with on the other side of this COVID. Like, how are we going to create it, where it's pleasing to us all? So that's the last thing I'll say.
All right.
Awesome seeing you, Conrad. Lots and lots of memories.
Yes. And
Unforgettable.
I hope I didn't leave anybody out, acknowledging. So if I did not acknowledge you, like any of my staff or anything like that, charge it to my mind, not my heart.
Rico Scott, any last words? Anything you want to
No,
offer?
thank you for stopping by. It's been enlightening.
Thank you.
Sweet Tea said I'm declaring 2022.
Okay. From her mouth to God's ears. Right.
Uh-huh.
All right. Sandy Paradise Lady, any last words?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm glad that you were here. Really nice story.
Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes.
Coco's, I mean, you're one of those diehard Together in Spirit members. You've been there since the beginning to the end.
I was. I was just glad to be a part of it because it was just a healing experience for me. And as I saw everybody being in the crowd when they would go there, they just felt free and they just loved the movement that you gave to the party.
Mm-hmm.
It was just beautiful.
Thank you, Coco.
You're welcome.
And I want to see that silhouette picture.
I still have it. Oh boy.
Right.
We want to see it, Coco.
And I want to know when is there going to be a Bliss party?
Oh, listen, wow. We'll see what happens. We'll see where we're guided to. Where we'll do the listening. We'll do the watching, and we're gonna just hear and just really listen to our hearts and just really figure this out. And not just do it out of impulse. Not doing it because we got to get it. Nah, because there's other people's lives on the line, and the last thing we want is to cause harm to people. We want to do good by people.
Right.
So to do this, strictly not out of ego, but out of caring and doing this the right way. So we've been talking, just talk. That's it. But we'll hopefully soon. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you will be there, right, Conrad? And you'll be there?
Absolutely, positively.
Oh, yes. We'll be there with bells on.
Rings and bottles and beads. All of it.
You are so sweet, Conrad. You really are a sweet man.
Come on, we're all connected family. Come on. What?
That's right.
There is one thing that just came up for me. I keep saying one more thing. But for everyone who are listening, that I encourage you to take care of your well-being.
Mm-hmm.
To take care, and I know we get a lot of support around our physical well-being, but I'm talking specifically around our mental well-being. Because we've been on lockdown, and this is affecting us. And it will come out somewhere. So having these conversations are so important. Going to a therapist is so important. Whatever, find where it works for you. Everybody has a different, if it's church, if it's an ashram where you go meditate, like find a way to center yourself. And find a way to speak about the stuff that's going on. Don't hold it in. You know what I'm saying? Because the body, the mind, and the spirit can only hold but so much.
Mm-hmm.
This is some fierce times, and um, I'm confident we're gonna see ourselves through. But as I said before, in reference to accountability and responsibility, we bear the responsibility of taking care of ourselves.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
we have to start with ourselves. And then we take care of our families, friends, and stuff. But don't leave yourself out of the equation. Take care of your mental well-being. So important.
Thank you.
That's my request of everybody.
We will do so. Absolutely.
So with that said, no more people pleasing. Do what's right for you.
Yeah. There you go.
That was very powerful.
All right. This is Bliss on the Spot. We have Ricoh Scott, Coco, Sandy Paradise Lady, our special guest, Conrad Neblett, Together in Spirit. I'm Will Milton. Man, it's been a great show. It's been a great evening. We went way over, but we wanted to make sure we didn't leave anything out. And that's just how much history this man right here, this event that he stands by, the brand, that's just how much history um, this event has, and we didn't want to leave anything out. And there's much more, trust me when I tell you, but to be continued at another time, of course. Conrad, thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing us to just break this bread with you. This is history. And it's informative. And like you said, hopefully, just us being together will take somebody out of depression, because just to see people coming together and just talking, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So don't forget Bliss NYC tomorrow, Saturday, 12 p.m. Twitch TV, Mixcloud. Join us, myself, Will Milton, Ricoh Scott, Coco and Sandy Paradise Lady, and the Bliss NYC family, Twitch TV, y'all. You know how we do it every Saturday, getting bliss by the beats. Family,
Indeed.
stay safe. Conrad, thank you so much once again.
Yes.
Appreciate you. All right. I want to thank all the listeners and viewers who really participated. You asked some great questions, and thank you for being here. I'm hoping that
Absolutely.
you did get some information, the inside scoop, and you know. All right, we out. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Night,
Thank you,
everyone.
Conrad. Thank you, everybody.